My name is Danny. I'm 28 years old, and I run a small but growing logistics tech startup based in Columbus, Ohio. We build intelligent routing software for delivery fleets, basically helping trucks waste less gas and time. It's not glamorous. No, it's not some Instagrammable influencer life with ring lights and makeup tutorials. It's spreadsheets. It's math. It's meetings that run way past midnight and meals you forget to eat. But I love it. I've loved it since the first time I saw a delivery driver struggle with a glitchy GPS in college and thought, there's gotta be a better way. I dropped out of my MBA program to go full-time with my co-founder Aaron. That was 3 years ago. We've bootstrapped most of it, lived off ramen, coded through Christmas, and slowly it started to work. We landed our first contract with a regional bakery chain last year. Revenue tripled this quarter. And we just moved into our first real office, above a laundromat. But hey, it has a door that locks. But if you ask my parents, I'm still playing business. My dad still introduces me as Donnie. Yeah, she's doing something with apps or codes or something tech. And my mom? She once told my aunt at a barbecue that I help companies do deliveries like Uber Eats, I think. I don't think she even knows the name of the company. Which is funny, considering I named it after her middle name. I remember the first time I told them I was quitting my MBA to pursue it. We were sitting around the dinner table. My dad scoffed before I could even finish the sentence. "You're what?" I repeated it. "I'm dropping out to work on the company full-time." He set down his fork. "You're throwing away a master's degree for a delivery app?" "It's not an app, Dad." "Whatever it is, it's not a job." Then came the chuckle. You know the kind. Half disbelief, half pity. Like I'd just announced I was becoming a magician in Vegas. "Okay," he said, "when this little fantasy collapses, don't say I didn't warn you." My mom stayed quiet. But she did that tight smile she does when she thinks I'm being ridiculous, but doesn't want to say it. They didn't ask questions. They didn't wish me luck. They didn't even ask for the name of the company. When I got back to my apartment that night, I cried. Not because they didn't believe in me, but because I had hoped they would. Just a little. Just enough to say, "We're proud of you for trying." But all I got was an eye roll. I promised myself that night I would never ask them for help. Not for rent, not for support, not even for a kind word. I would succeed without them, even if I had to walk every mile alone. And one day, they'd hear the name of the company. Not from me, but from someone they wished had come from them. A year passed after that night. We kept grinding, coding until 3 a.m., eating more cold takeout than I care to admit. Aaron and I landed our second big contract with a mid-sized grocery chain. We hired 2 interns, got our first investor on board. We even made it into a local business feature called 10 Startups to Watch. I sent the article to my parents, just once. No reply, not even a nice job, but it was okay. I'd stopped expecting anything by then. Then came the invite. Family dinner at my parents' house, my dad's 60th birthday. I debated not going, but Erin convinced me. "Maybe things have changed," she said. "At least go for the cake." So I went. Big mistake. The house was packed. Aunts, uncles, cousins, even some of my dad's old coworkers from his manufacturing days. As soon as I walked in, my cousin Jared came over. "Hey, Danny. Still doing that Postmates clone?" I blinked. "It's not Postmates. We do route optimization and fleet." "Cool, cool," he said, already turning away. "Let me know if you ever need a real job." I bit my tongue. Then I heard my dad in the kitchen, already a few beers in. He was telling one of his old coworkers about me. "Oh, Danny? She's doing some little delivery project on the side," he said. Then he laughed, like it was a joke, like I was the joke. I stood in the hallway, frozen. He hadn't seen me yet, but I saw everything. The mocking smile, the dismissive shrug, the total lack of respect. His friend asked, "Is it making any money?" My dad took a sip of his beer and smirked. "Probably not. It's more of a hobby. A hobby. That hobby was paying my rent, Aaron's salary, and a new office lease. That hobby had just cleared $200,000 in annual revenue. I didn't wait for the cake. I walked into the living room, grabbed my coat, and turned to go. My mom saw me at the door. "Leaving already?" she asked. I nodded. "Yeah, got some real work to do." Her smile faded. Just a little. But still, no questions. No concern. No, what happened? Just silence. I stepped out into the cold night, and as I closed the door behind me, I made another promise. One day, I'll be more than a joke in this house. And when that day comes, they won't be laughing. 6 months later, everything changed. Aaron and I secured our largest deal yet. A national courier company with over 400 vans. We underbid the legacy software they were using by 40% and offered real-time AI rerouting. They signed a 3-year contract, $1.2 million. I didn't cry, not at first. But when the wire transfer hit our account, AI cried. Ugly cried. In the middle of our tiny office, Aaron brought champagne in a paper cup and we sat on the floor, laughing between sips. This was it. We weren't surviving anymore. We were building, hiring, expanding. We opened a second office, brought in a full-stack engineering team. We even got an offer from a VC firm out in California. They wanted in, but they wanted 40%. We said no. For once, the power was ours. And I didn't forget who laughed when I had nothing. 2 weeks after that deal closed, I got a text from my dad. That alone was weird. We hadn't spoken since the birthday dinner. The message said, "Hey Danny, quick question. Do you know anyone at First Bank Mortgage? Our house appraisal came back lower than expected. Just wondering if you've worked with them through your delivery thing." My delivery thing. I stared at the message for a full minute. Then I called him. He picked up on the second ring. "Hey kid," he said, like nothing had ever happened. "Why are you asking about First Bank?" I asked. There was a pause. Then he sighed. "It's nothing serious, just refinancing. Rates are high, you know how it is." But I heard something in his voice. A crack. A wobble. It wasn't nothing. So I did some digging. I had a contact at First Bank through our business accounts. All I asked for was public data. And public data was enough. Their house was in pre-foreclosure. 2 missed mortgage payments. A third one coming up. Final notice pending. I sat in my office, the report in my hands. It felt surreal. The house I grew up in. The kitchen where my mom packed my school lunches. The living room where I sat with scraped knees and cartoons. On the verge of being lost. And my dad? Kie. 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 Crow. Kie. Kie. Ie. Kie. 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 Bitterness? Maybe all of it. Maybe none. I printed the documents and slid them into a folder. Then I sat at my desk and stared out the window. The same parents who laughed at my startup were about to lose the very roof over their heads, and they had no idea that the person who could buy it outright was me. I didn't tell Aaron at first, not because I wanted to hide it, but because I didn't know what I wanted to do. I kept that folder in the top drawer of my desk for 3 weeks. Every time I opened it, I saw the words, "Notice of default," and every time, I closed it again. But then one morning, over coffee and numbers, Aaron looked at me and said, "You've been weird lately." I laughed a little. She raised an eyebrow. "What's going on, Donnie?" So I told her. Everything. The pre-foreclosure. The texts. The years of dismissal. The jokes at family dinners. And she just listened. When I finished, she leaned back and said, "You know, you don't owe them anything." I nodded. "But you could own everything," she added. And that stuck with me. I called First Bank the next day, asked about the timeline. Their house was going up for auction in 21 days. Public auction. Cash bidders only. No reserve. I confirmed the details and hung up. Then I called a lawyer. Set up a shell LLC with a generic name, Blue Ridge Holdings. No trace back to me. Just in case. Because this wasn't about revenge. It was about reclaiming power. For every time I'd been ignored, laughed at, talked over, belittled. I showed up to the auction on a rainy Tuesday morning. It was held at a small county courthouse tucked between two dull government buildings. There were maybe 6 other people there, some with clipboards, others in suits. The auctioneer stepped up with a binder and began the announcements. The house came up second. I didn't hesitate. $150,000, I said. A man in the back raised a card. $155,000. I raised mine again. $165,000. The man hesitated, then lowered his card. Going once, going twice. Sold. Just like that. I bought the house my parents had built their lives in. The same one where they once told me I'd never make it. I walked out of that courthouse without a word. Rain tapping against my umbrella like applause from the universe. I didn't feel like I'd won. Not yet. Because now came the hard part. They didn't know who bought it. Not yet. But they would. Soon. And when they did, I'd be the one handing them the key. Or taking it away. 2 weeks passed. The transfer was finalized. The deed had my LLC's name on it. Blue Ridge Holdings, LLC. Owner of 419 Summit Lane. The house I grew up in. The one my dad once said I'd never be able to afford with that delivery app. I waited exactly 3 days. Then I mailed the letter. Plain white envelope. Typed label. No return address. Inside was a copy of the deed. A formal letter from my lawyer. And one short sentence from me. The property has a new owner. You'll be contacted regarding next steps. I sent it on a Friday morning. Certified mail. Signature required. Monday afternoon, I got the delivery confirmation. Signed by my mom. I imagined her opening it. The slow confusion. The growing panic. The moment realization dawned. Then the call came. I let it go to voicemail, then another, then a third. I finally picked up on the 4th. Hello, my mom's voice was shaky. Donnie, did you buy the house? I didn't answer right away. Then I said, calmly, yes. Silence, like someone had hit mute on the whole world. You bought our house? She repeated. It was at auction, I said. I made a legal bid. I won. My dad got on the line. Why would you do this? His voice wasn't angry. It was afraid. For the first time in my life, I heard fear in his voice. I didn't do anything, I said. You lost it. He exploded. You've been waiting for this, haven't you? Just waiting to kick us out and laugh. I stayed calm. No. But I do find it ironic. He cursed under his breath. You think this makes you powerful? No, I said. I think my work did that. Another long silence. Then my mom spoke again. What happens now? I paused. Let the moment hang. Then I said, you'll get a formal letter from the property manager in 3 days. It will outline your options. My dad scoffed. You mean eviction? I didn't flinch. I mean lease terms. At market rate. You expect us to pay you rent? He barked. You paid the bank for years, I said. You couldn't keep up. Now the property belongs to someone else. But you're our daughter. I took a deep breath. You were my parents. Then I hung up. And for the first time in years, I felt like I'd finished something. Not out of spite, but closure. They made me a joke. Now they could live in the punchline. The property manager I hired was efficient, professional, completely unaware of the family drama swirling beneath the paperwork. He drew up a standard lease agreement, 12 months. Market rate, $1,850 per month. Due the 1st of each month. 2-month deposit. Late fee clause after the 5th day. I reviewed it twice, then signed it. No discounts, no notes, no favors. This wasn't family business. This was real business. 3 days later, the letter was delivered. My mom signed for it again. Less than an hour later, I got another call. I didn't answer. She left a voicemail. "Donnie, sweetheart, we just got the papers. It's a bit steep, don't you think?" She sounded polite. Too polite. The kind of voice she used on strangers. People she wanted something from. Then, my dad texted, "This is outrageous. We raised you. Is this your way of getting back at us?" I ignored both. Because it wasn't payback. It was policy. 2 days passed. Then I got an email. Subject: lease discussion. It was from a new email address. Apparently, my dad had created one just to make it formal. Inside was a scanned copy of the lease. Signed. Both of them. I stared at the screen for a full minute. They signed it. No fight, no stall, no legal challenge. They agreed to pay, to live in the house they once mocked me in, now as tenants. I forwarded the signed lease to the property manager. He replied, "All set? First invoice will be sent on the 28th. Done. It was done. I sat at my desk, hands still. No celebration, no music. Just a strange, eerie calm. This was never what I dreamed of. Not even close. But this was reality finally flipping the script. A week later, my aunt called me. The one who used to ask every Thanksgiving, "Are you still doing that cute little app?" She said, "Hey, your mom told me you're renting the house to them?" I didn't reply. She hesitated. "Well, that's unexpected. But I guess congratulations are in order?" I said only 2 words. "Things change." She chuckled nervously. "Guess they do." That night, I walked through the quiet halls of our new office. The startup they laughed at. Now managing 6 contracts, 12 employees, 1 building, and 1 piece of real estate, with their names on the mailbox. And mine on the deed. About a month after they signed the lease, the texts started to change. Less yelling. More softening. "Hope you're doing well. Your mom made lasagna. Want to come by?" Even my dad's messages were different. "Just wanted to check in. You busy with all that tech stuff?" It felt strange. Like getting a birthday card from someone who never knew when your birthday was. One Saturday afternoon, I got a voicemail from my mom. "Sweetheart, we're having a family dinner next Sunday. Just a small thing. Thought it'd be nice to see you." I didn't respond right away. But curiosity got the better of me. So I went. When I pulled up in front of the house, something in me clenched. The same porch. The same shutters. Only now, legally and financially, it belonged to me. I rang the bell. My mom opened the door with a too wide smile. "Honey!" She hugged me, like we hadn't spoken through silence and tension for years. I walked inside. The furniture was the same. The air smelled like roast chicken and fabric softener. But everything felt different. Or maybe I did. Dinner was awkward. Small talk. Forced laughter. My dad asked, "So, business is good?" "Yep," I said. "Big office now?" 2 floors. He nodded, silent, then looked at his plate. The rest of the meal passed like that. Polite, pointless, placid, until dessert. That's when it came. My mom set down the pie and looked at me. "We were thinking," she said, "now that you're doing so well, maybe we could work out something easier." "Easier?" I asked. "With the rent," she said. "Maybe a discount?" I stared at her, then my dad jumped in. "It's just $1,850's a lot." "It's market rate," I said. "We know," he replied quickly, "but it's us." "And?" I said. He looked at me, then looked away. My mom spoke again. "You don't need the money, honey. But we—" She trailed off. Suddenly the room felt suffocating, like all the years of being brushed aside were trying to squeeze into this one moment. I placed my fork down gently. If I wasn't your daughter, I said, would you still ask for a discount? They didn't answer, so I answered for them. You would never ask that from a landlord, or a banker, or a stranger. But me? I stood up. You ask because you think I owe you. My mom's eyes welled up. We just thought. I know what you thought, I said. Then I walked toward the door. My dad's voice called after me. So that's it? I turned back. No, I said. That's rent. Due on the 1st. And then I left. No hug, no goodbye. Just the cold click of the door behind me. The first missed payment came in August. No heads up. No excuse. Just an empty inbox where the invoice confirmation should have been. I waited 2 days. Then 5. Still nothing. The property manager called me. They're 5 days late. I nodded. Charge the late fee. He hesitated. They're your tenants, I cut in. Treat them like anyone else. The next day, they paid, late, with a note scrawled across the invoice. Sorry, tight month. No explanation. No accountability. Just another silent expectation that I'd understand, that I'd be soft. I wasn't. September came. They paid on time. October? Another late fee. My lawyer advised me to consider legal action if the trend continued. Even family leases are protected by law, he said. If they don't pay, you can evict. I knew that. But hearing the word evict tied to my parents? It stung, not out of guilt, out of grief. Grief for the relationship we never had. For the validation I stopped hoping for. One night in October, I got an email from my dad. No subject line, just a few lines. Danny, I don't understand how you can do this. We're your family. This is humiliating. Please consider giving us some breathing room. I didn't reply right away. I stared at it for a long time, then opened my drafts, typed 3 sentences. I spent years begging for breathing room, for belief, for even 1 ounce of respect. You gave me laughter and silence. Now, I've given you a roof. Try respecting that. But I didn't send it. Instead, I opened the rent ledger, updated the late fee, then closed my laptop. I made tea, sat on my balcony, watched the city lights blink against the fall skyline, and thought, maybe this was never about money. Maybe it was about finally being the one with a choice. They used to laugh at my work, mock my ambition, dismiss my value. Now? Hess. They lived in it, paid into it, had to knock on the very door they once locked behind me. I didn't want revenge. I wanted peace. But if peace meant holding people accountable, even if they share your last name, then so be it. Because some homes aren't built with wood and nails. They're built with boundaries. And mine had finally gone up. Thanksgiving was quiet that year. No invitation came. Not from my parents. Not from my sister. Not even a passive-aggressive group message with a time and a pie sign-up. And for once, I didn't care. I spent the holiday with Erin and her partner at their place. We made butternut squash soup, watched old movies, and laughed until midnight. No small talk. No snide remarks about my little business. Just warmth. 2 days later, I got a text. From my mom. We're having Christmas at the house this year. Would love if you came. Your dad says hi. I stared at it. Then typed, I'm not sure. She replied almost instantly. We'll make your favorite apple crumble. And Dad's trying really hard. I promise. I didn't answer. But Christmas Eve, something pulled me there. Not guilt, not obligation. Just curiosity. I parked on the street and sat in my car for a long time, looking at the porch light glowing against the frost. Then I got out, knocked once. My mom opened the door. She looked tired, older, like the weight of everything had finally settled in her eyes. Hi, honey. I stepped inside. The house smelled like cinnamon and something slightly burnt. Classic. My dad was on the couch, watching football, a plate of food half finished beside him. He stood up when he saw me. "Hey," I nodded. "Hey?" We didn't hug, didn't smile, but it was something. Dinner was fine. No fights, no jabs. Just a lot of chewing and long pauses. Then, after dessert, my mom handed me a small box, wrapped in silver paper. "What's this?" I asked. "Just something small." I opened it. Inside was a key, a spare house key. I looked up. "I already have the deed," she nodded. "But this is the key to the front door." I swallowed. "What are you trying to say?" She smiled softly. "That maybe we got it wrong. And that maybe, just maybe, we're ready to see you for who you really are." My dad stood silently behind her. Didn't nod. Didn't object. Just looked at the floor. It wasn't a full apology. It wasn't the movie moment I imagined as a kid. But it was something. That night, I left quietly, box in hand, key in pocket, and a strange warmth in my chest I hadn't felt in years. Not forgiveness, not quite, but maybe the beginning of it. And I realized something on that drive home. Sometimes the people who hurt you won't say they're sorry, but they'll hand you a key, and sometimes that's all the closure you'll ever get. Spring came early this year. The snow melted faster. The skies stayed clear longer. And something inside me began to thaw too. Business was booming. We'd just landed our first international client, a distributor based in Germany. Our platform was scaling faster than I could have imagined. We were negotiating Series A funding, 7 figures. When I told Erin, she screamed in the middle of our shared office. We high-fived like kids. I stepped out onto the balcony afterward, sipped my coffee, and thought about 419 Summit Lane, my childhood home. My parents' lease was ending in 90 days, and I had a decision to make. Renew it, raise it, sell it, or something else. I didn't want revenge. I didn't even want rent money. I just wanted peace. Not truce, not surrender, just peace. So I made a decision. I called my lawyer, had him draft a new document, then drove out there one Sunday. They didn't know I was coming. My mom opened the door, wearing that old navy sweater she always wore when she was cleaning. "Dani?" "Hey," I said. "Can we talk?" She stepped aside. My dad was in the kitchen, reading a newspaper, but not really reading it. We sat at the table. I pulled the envelope from my bag. "This is your new contract," I said. They looked confused. My mom took it with shaking hands. She read it once. Then again, then looked up. Her voice cracked. "This says you're transferring the house back to us?" I nodded. Free and clear. No mortgage, no rent, just theirs. Again. My dad stared at me, like he was trying to see something he missed for 28 years. "But why?" he asked. "You earned this. You don't owe us." I met his eyes. "I don't," I said, "but I'm not doing it because I owe you." "Then why?" he asked again. I exhaled slowly. "Because I want to end this cycle," I said, "of pride, of silence, of always pretending we're better than we are." My mom's eyes filled with tears. My dad looked away. "I'm not here for an apology," I said. "I just want to live a life where I don't carry all of this anymore." Silence. Long. Still. Heavy. Then my dad did something I hadn't seen since I was 10 years old. He stood up, walked over, and hugged me. No words. No explanations. Just a father finally seeing his daughter as something more than a mistake, more than a disappointment. That night, I drove home in silence. No music, no podcast. Just the road and the hum of possibility. I had built a company from scratch. I had bought my childhood home out of foreclosure. And I gave it back. Not to fix the past, but to free my future. Because sometimes the real power isn't in owning what they took from you. It's in choosing what you give away. What do you think about Danny's decision? Was she too harsh? Or was this the only way to truly protect herself? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more heartfelt stories about family.